This is Matthew Cratter from Trader University, and today I want to talk about the Lightning Network as the fulfillment of Satoshi Nakamoto's vision. You'll often see in my YouTube comments these BSV people and Bcash people who say that BTC, Bitcoin, is not the real Bitcoin, but one of these forks instead is. This is the basic history, a very simplified version of the hard forks in Bitcoin. We have BTC, which is the real Bitcoin, and we had a schism or hard fork, whatever you want to call it, back in 2017. Bcash forked off, and then a little bit later, BSV forked off of Bcash or BCH. And the history since then has not been kind to the Bcash folks. Bitcoin Cash, Bcash, currently has a market cap of almost 12 billion. BSV, Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision, which is the other fork, has a market cap of almost 3 billion. And by contrast, BTC has a market cap of 1 trillion. This is the market voting with its feet long term, and it's been very, very ugly for these forks. What the Bcash people will tell you is that Bcash is what Satoshi wanted or would have wanted, simply because he titled his paper a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. This is the original Bitcoin white paper. Unfortunately, history has not played out this way. If we look at a chart of BSV versus BTC, basically, if the chart goes this way, it means that BSV is winning. If the chart goes this way, it means that BTC or Bitcoin is winning. This has been a volatile path, almost down to zero for BSV and also for Bcash. And I made a video about this about a year ago called Bcash is Trash. Since then, the exchange rate between Bcash and Bitcoin, basically Bcash has lost another 50% of its value if you denominate it in Bitcoin. While you're here, if you're finding this video helpful so far, be sure to hit that subscribe and like button. So as I said, markets can be wrong in the short to intermediate term, but they're almost never wrong in the long term over, call it the 4 or 5 year period. BCH, Bcash, and BSV have both been behaving like penny stocks. They've been highly volatile, and they've been on a path down to zero. So they basically already lost when you look at the comparable market caps. And people who think that these are going to somehow stage a miraculous resurrection are highly, highly diluted. The people who do this, it reminds me a little bit about it's almost the monetary version of biblical proof text, where people are fighting over individual quotes that somehow the Satoshi white paper supports Bcash. But you can also go in and find Satoshi if you want to play the proof text game. You can go in and find his initial email to the cyberpunks email group, where he talks about how the central bank must be trusted not to debase the currency, but the history of fiat currencies is full of breaches of that trust. So this is clearly where Satoshi is seeing Bitcoin as a store of value, as a sound money. What a lot of people don't realize at this point, though, is that Bitcoin has actually had its cake and eaten it too. Bitcoin is the most secure monetary network in the universe, thanks to proof of work. Proof of work is not a bug, it's a feature. It's how the value is secured. And people who say it uses a lot of electricity somehow think it's okay to use the same amount of electricity for washers and dryers and Christmas lights, etc. They're the electricity police. They want to tell you what to do with your electricity. If you think that Bitcoin has no value, of course, you're going to see proof of work as a huge use of energy. But what proof of work does is it really does make Bitcoin the most secure monetary network. It's not gameable in the same way that a proof of stake network is. Bitcoin is also the most decentralized monetary network in the world, as we always emphasize. And why is this? Well, we have to remember, we have to go back to this fork that we talked about. This fork was a fight over the block size of each of the individual blocks in the Bitcoin blockchain. And by not increasing the block size in 2017, Bitcoiners were able to keep the blockchain small enough so that anyone in the world can still run a full node. This isn't true for Ethereum, which requires massive amounts of memory and processing power. It's not true for Solana. It's not true for any of these other currencies. No other cryptocurrency can rival Bitcoin's security and decentralization. It's not decentralized in name only, like so many altcoins. So we have this really firm foundation that we can build a new monetary and financial system on. The problem with DeFi built on Ethereum is it's built on a foundation of sand. It's built on a currency that's rapidly moving towards a proof of stake system that had a huge pre-mine, etc. And the full nodes on Ethereum now are so large that people outsource running a full node to companies like Infura. And this is sort of decentralization in name only. As I've said many times, you could shut down Ethereum if you were a hostile government, maybe like the US government. You could make 2 phone calls, one to Infura and one to AWS, Amazon Web Services, and you could basically shut down Ethereum. This has happened in the past. About a year ago, Infura went down, and all of a sudden no one could process, all the exchanges couldn't process Ethereum withdrawals, etc. So Ethereum is decentralized in name only. As I said, we Bitcoiners got to have our cake and eat it too. We sacrificed nothing and we got everything. We won the block wars of 2017. We have the most secure base layer in the universe, and now we have a new form of fast money that's built on top of that base layer. And this is, of course, I'm talking about the Lightning Network. The Lightning Network is the fulfillment of Satoshi's vision. It's true peer-to-peer payments that no one can stop. It's this layer 2 solution, as I said, that's been built on top of the base layer of Bitcoin. Don't confuse it with altcoins that are pretending that have changed their name to Lightning. The Lightning Network uses BTC, it uses Bitcoin. It doesn't use any other token, and it's actually a real project that is being used in the real world now. It's being used globally, it's being used in El Salvador, etc. The Lightning Network, true to Satoshi's vision, is permissionless, it's instantaneous, and it's basically free. It will cost you less than a penny to send money anywhere in the world. This is the huge competitor now to Western Union and remittance payments. The other thing about the Lightning Network being permissionless, anyone can plug in and use it. The Lightning Network is literally the fulfillment of Satoshi's dream of a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. It's not BSV. If we take a look, here's a map of all the Lightning Network nodes. It's a global monetary network. Twitter is just plugged into it. Strike is plugged into it. All of these different companies are using it. Anyone can plug into this network and use it. And it's funny, one of these nodes actually is called Bcash is trash, which is certainly true. If you're an altcoiner, if you own Ethereum, if you own Cardano, if you own Bcash or BSV, you should look at this map and you should be quaking in your boots. Bitcoin is now not only the best store of value in the solar system, it's the best medium of exchange in the whole crypto universe. Because thanks to the Lightning Network and the secure base layer of Bitcoin, we now have peer-to-peer cash that's fast, that's permissionless, that's free, and that's extremely private, especially on the Lightning Network. This is a very private network. It's not like some stable coin that was built on a foundation of sand, meaning the Ethereum network, that's about to be massively regulated. It's not like some stable coin that's pegged to fiat currencies like the US dollar. In other words, it's programmed to lose value over time, just as the US dollar always loses value over time. When I was young, you could buy a Big Mac, McDonald's Big Mac for 25 cents or 50 cents. Now it's 10 times that. It's not that McDonald's has raised their prices, it's that the purchasing power of fiat currencies like the US dollar has gone down. So if you hold US stable coins, you're basically linking yourself to a melting ice cube, which is the US dollar. There's nothing stable about stable coins over long holding periods of time. Bitcoin has many little copycat brothers like Ethereum who pretend to be ultrasound money. They see how well this has worked for Bitcoin, and so their marketing department pulls this out. And Ethereum really is like Bitcoin's little copycat brother who's so proud that he's about to move up from his pull-up diapers. He's about to move to pull-up diapers from regular diapers. Whenever I hear Ethereans talking about ultrasound money, all I can think about is a toddler with his pull-up diapers. But the real problem with Ethereum is it can't stick with the same monetary policy or even consensus mechanism. It's moving from proof of work to proof of stake. It can't even stick with the same thing for more than a few years. This is why you have constant hard forks in Ethereum every few months, and these hard forks are driven by insiders and developers who control the currency. All policy decisions are centralized around Vitalik Buterin and a few other beneficiaries of the massive pre-mine. You have people like Joe Lubin talking about Ethereum being ultrasound money and saying that this is the way we're going to democratize the global financial system. What he fails to mention is that he, at least these are rumors on the internet, I don't know if they're true, he fails to mention that he probably still owns, at least according to Grubels on Twitter, Joe Lubin still owns 10 to 15% of the entire supply of ETH. So it makes sense that he's pretending this is some global democracy when he's actually one of the original beneficiaries of the pre-mine. And in addition to that, of course, his company owns MetaMask, which all the Web 3.0 and DeFi stuff goes through. And so we have, this just shows the centralization. It shows the pressure that can be exerted by insiders. And we talked about how you need Infura to run a full node. At least this is what a lot of people do on Ethereum because they can't figure out how to do it themselves. And the size of the blockchain is so large. It turns out that Infura is also owned by Consensus. So you have this one guy who, at least according to Twitter, I don't know what's actually true, owns 10 to 15% of the supply of ETH, owns MetaMask, owns Consensus, owns Infura. This is not what I want the new global financial system to be built on to benefit people like Vitalik and Joe Lubin. That being said, I'm sure Joe Lubin is a great guy. I'm just sharing random things that I read on the internet. I have no insider knowledge. I've never worked for the Ethereum Foundation. I just read some stuff on Twitter and on the internet, and I provide links. And I actually don't know how much influence Lubin currently has on Ethereum and its super ultrasound money. So you're going to have to decide this for yourself. These are just some facts that or allegations that I've seen on the internet. But I don't want to end on a negative note. I want to end on the note that we're very lucky to have the Lightning Network. There are now decentralized apps being built on top of the Lightning Network. So you have the base layer, layer 1, which is the blockchain itself in Bitcoin. You have layer 2 solutions like Lightning, and now people are building layer 3 solutions on top of Lightning, like decentralized apps like the Sphinx chat and the Red telephone and various things like this. And this is only possible because we have this very, very firm foundation, this secure foundation, which is Bitcoin itself, the most secure and decentralized blockchain in the universe. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe and like button. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I publish my next video. And let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.